The cracked phone screen in my hand was spiderwebbed with tape, and I stayed quiet as I watched my little sister step into a food pantry line like she belonged there. Her wedding ring was gone. Her eyes were blown wide with fear, and I broke inside without letting my face change. My name is Genevieve. I am 34, and I work as a compliance auditor for a regional bank in Northern California. I had flown into Sacramento for what was supposed to be a boring week of training, the kind where you sit under fluorescent lights, pretend the coffee is drinkable, and practice smiling at coworkers you only know by email. On Tuesday afternoon, I took a lift to volunteer at a community center because when I get stressed, I need to use my hands for something real. Boxes, canned soup, folding tables, anything. That is why I saw her. Holland. My sister had always been the steady one, the organized one, the teacher who labeled everything, who packed snacks in color-coded containers, who sent me photos of her son. Lego castles like proof that life could be clean and safe if you just tried hard enough. Now she was standing under a sun-faded awning with a boy pressed against her hip, both of them sweating through thin cotton. My nephew's backpack straps were frayed, and the zipper pull had been replaced by a key ring. His shoes were too small. His eyes were too old. I walked up behind her slowly, because something about the way she kept looking over her shoulder made my stomach feel like it was falling. Holland, I said, like saying her name might wake me up. She turned. For half a second, her face went blank. Then her expression snapped into a smile that did not reach her eyes. Jen, she whispered, what are you doing here? I wanted to say, what happened to you? I wanted to grab her and pull her into the building like I could hide her from whatever had done this. But I kept my voice calm, the way I learned to do at work when someone is lying and you need them to keep talking. I volunteer here sometimes, I said, which was true technically. Are you picking up groceries? Her fingers tightened on my nephew's shoulder, like if she let go, he might float away. We just need a little help this week, she said quickly. It is fine, just a rough patch. The boy's stomach growled loud enough that I heard it from a foot away. Holland flinched like someone had slapped her. My nephew, Miles, looked up at her with this careful, quiet patience that made me furious. Kids do not learn that kind of patience unless they have had to. Mama, he said softly, can we get the cereal, the one with the little squares? Holland swallowed hard. We will see. Her eyes flicked to me again, warning me without saying it. Do not push. Not here. I nodded like I understood, like I agreed. But my hands were trembling, and I tucked them into my hoodie pocket so she would not see. Did you eat today? I asked like it was casual. We ate, she lied. Miles did not speak, but his face did. His mouth tightened like he was trying to help her lie better. My heart twisted. Holland, I said, softer. Come with me, just step out of line for a minute. I have snacks in my bag for Miles. She shook her head fast. No, I cannot, he will call. He, I repeated. Her eyes darted to the parking lot. Grayson. Her husband. The man who always shook my hand too firmly and called it confidence. The man who bought expensive watches and joked about big moves, while Holland paid for classroom supplies out of her own pocket. He checks my location, she added, barely moving her lips. If I am gone too long, he will know. My throat went dry. That was the first twist, not the pantry line, not the missing ring. The word location. I kept my face smooth anyway. I smiled like I was just a sister offering help. Okay, I said. No problem, let me stand with you then. Holland blinked, confused. Jen, you do not have to. I want to, I said, and it sounded normal, which scared me a little. Because inside, something sharp and cold had clicked into place. I stood beside her while the line crawled forward inch by inch. People chatted quietly. A volunteer handed out numbers. A little girl danced on the sidewalk, bored, normal life. But Holland's body was rigid. Every few seconds, she glanced at her phone like it was an explosive. Miles leaned against her thigh, trying to be invisible. I watched her thumb hover over the screen, not scrolling, not texting, waiting. What happened to your car? I asked gently. She swallowed. It is in the shop. Both times I visited you last year, you said you loved that car, I said. You called it your freedom car. Her eyes tightened. It is not my car anymore. That was the second twist. I wanted to ask, what do you mean, not yours? But I could feel her panic rising. Her breathing was getting shallow. If I pushed too hard in public, she would shut down completely. So I did something I had trained myself to do in conference rooms full of men who smiled, while they tried to bury the truth. I acted like I believed her. Oh, I said like it was small. That sucks, I am sorry. Her shoulders dropped a fraction, like she had expected an argument and instead got relief. Then her phone buzzed. She froze so fast it was like watching a deer spot headlights. Miles lifted his head. Holland's fingers shook as she opened the message. I could not see the screen, but I watched her face drain of color. What? I murmured. She forced a laugh that sounded like it hurt. Nothing, he is just checking in. Miles pressed closer. Holland typed back with trembling thumbs. Her reply was short, like she did not want to risk saying the wrong thing. Then she slid the phone into her pocket and exhaled like she had been holding her breath underwater. I waited until she looked at me again. Holland, I said quietly, are you safe? Her eyes filled instantly. She blinked hard, furious at herself for reacting. I am fine, she whispered. Please, Jen, not here. I nodded. Okay. And I meant it, because I had just noticed something that made my stomach drop. A bruise, faint, yellowing, half-covered by the sleeve of her cardigan. The kind that was old enough to fade, but not old enough to forget. I did not point at it. I did not gasp. I did not say his name like a weapon. I just stayed beside her like I belonged there, too. When they reached the front, the volunteer handed Holland a box and a paper list. Holland's hands shook so badly, the box almost slipped. I steadied it with one hand and smiled at the volunteer. My sister has had a rough month, I said smoothly. I will carry it. Holland opened her mouth, then closed it again. In the parking lot, the heat hit us like a wall. Miles squinted against the sun. I glanced around, pretending to look for my ride, but really scanning for threats. No one obvious, no car idling nearby. Still, Holland's body stayed tight, like she expected someone to appear at any second. Where are you staying? I asked, keeping my voice light. Her eyes flicked away. With a friend. And Miles, I said, is he going to school? Holland's mouth trembled. I am homeschooling right now. That was the third twist. Holland did not homeschool. Holland lived for classroom schedules and reading logs and parent-teacher conferences. My blood went cold. I kept smiling anyway. I hated how easy it was. Okay, I said. Let me do something small. Come sit with me for 10 minutes, just 10. I will order Miles a meal and you can tell me what book he is reading. Nothing heavy. She hesitated. I could see her doing math in her head. Risk versus reward. Fear versus hunger. Miles saved me. He tugged her sleeve. Mama, he whispered, please. Holland's eyes closed for a second. Then she nodded. We walked to a diner across the street, the kind with sticky menus and booths that smell like old coffee. I chose a booth in the back, where no one could easily see us from outside. Holland sat with her back to the wall. Miles slid in beside her. I watched her hands grip her phone under the table like it was a lifeline and a leash at the same time. I ordered pancakes, eggs, milk, extra fries. Too much. Holland opened her mouth to protest. I cut her off softly. It is fine. And because she was exhausted, because she was hungry, because she was broken in a way that made arguing feel impossible, she let it happen. Miles ate like he was afraid the food might disappear. Holland watched him eat, and her eyes filled again. That was when I understood the worst part was not the poverty. It was the shame. People will endure anything if they think they deserve it. When Miles went to the bathroom, Holland leaned forward and whispered, Jen, I am sorry. For what? I asked. For lying, she said, voice cracking. For not telling you, for ending up like this. I kept my face calm, but inside, I was shaking. Holland, I said quietly. Start at the beginning, just tell me the first thing that changed. Her lips parted, then she hesitated again, listening. I listened too. For a moment, all I heard was the hum of the diner, the clink of forks, the low talk of strangers. Then her phone buzzed again. Holland jolted. She pulled it out and glanced at the screen, and I watched terror sweep through her like a wave. It is him, she whispered. What did he say? I asked. She swallowed. He says I am not where I told him I would be. My chest tightened. How would he know that? Holland's eyes met mine, wet and defeated. Because my phone is not my phone, she whispered. It is his. Quick real-life pause outside the story. When I am editing these late at night, I get tired, and your comments are what keep me going. Like, subscribe and tell me your city, state, or country. All right, now let me take you back. Holland's hands were shaking so hard, the phone rattled against the table. I kept my voice low. What do you mean it is his? She took a breath, like she was about to jump off something high. He put an app on it, she said. He said it was for safety. He said women get followed and he worries. He said I should be grateful. I did not react, not the way I wanted to. Instead, I nodded slowly. Okay. Holland blinked at me, like she expected anger. I gave her calm. Because calm is what makes people like Grayson sloppy. Calm is what makes them think they are winning. What else? I asked. Holland's voice dropped to a whisper. He handles everything now, money, my paycheck, my cards. He said I was spending too much. He said I was losing control. He showed me statements with purchases I do not remember. He told me I must have a problem. My stomach turned because I had heard this story before. Not in my family, in the bank. Fraud cases disguised as marital budgeting. What did he do with your accounts? I asked. Holland's eyes darted to the bathroom door, where Miles had disappeared. He made me sign papers, she whispered, so he could help. He said if I did not sign, the bank would take the house. He said the school district was questioning my stability. The school district, I repeated softly. She nodded quickly. He said they might fire me. He said I would lose Miles if I did not cooperate. My throat burned. Holland, I said, still calm, where do you sleep? Her eyes squeezed shut. In the car, she whispered, most nights. I stared at her for one heartbeat too long. Then I leaned in and lowered my voice even more. Okay, I said, I am going to help you, but you have to do exactly what I say and you cannot warn him. Holland looked at me like hope was dangerous. He will hurt us, she whispered. I smiled, small and steady. Then we will make him think you are still scared. We will make him think you are still alone. Her phone buzzed again. She flinched. I held my hand out. Let me see. Holland hesitated, then slid the phone toward me like she was handing me something radioactive. The message preview was only a few words, but it was enough to make my blood go ice cold. Because it was not just anger. It was a countdown. I tilted the phone so Holland could see my face, and not the panic trying to climb out of my throat. The message was simple, clinical. 30 minutes. If you are not where you said you would be, you will regret it. Holland's lips parted like she could not breathe. He does not usually give me time, she whispered. He just shows up. Okay, I said again, because okay was the only word that did not set off alarms in her body. I slid the phone back to her, careful not to tap anything. Do not answer yet. Her eyes snapped up. Jen, if I do not answer, he will think I am hiding something. He already thinks that, I said softly. So we do the one thing he cannot stand. What? She asked, voice cracking. We make him feel in control, I said. We feed his story back to him exactly the way he likes it. Holland stared at me like I was speaking another language. I leaned in, lowering my voice until it was almost swallowed by the diner noise. You are going to text him from here. You are going to apologize. You are going to say you got stuck helping a woman at the pantry and your phone battery dipped and you are embarrassed. Holland blinked. He will ask where I am. You will tell him the truth, but not the whole truth, I said. You will say you walked across the street to the diner for a free coffee because you were dizzy. He will like that. It makes you sound weak. Her face tightened with humiliation, and I hated that I was asking her to play small. But survival is not pride. Survival is strategy. And then, she whispered. And then you will ask him for permission, I said. You will say, should I bring Miles back to the car now, or can we sit for a few minutes until he finishes eating? You will make it sound like you cannot make a decision without him. Holland's throat bobbed. He likes that. I know, I said. She looked down at her hands. You do not know what he is like when he is angry. I held her gaze. I know exactly what he is like. I see men like him every day, just in different clothes. The bathroom door opened and Miles came out, wiping his hands on his shirt. He paused when he saw our faces, then walked back slower, cautious, like he already knew there were rules to every emotion. I forced a smile at him. Hey, buddy, pancakes are coming. He nodded, but his eyes flicked to Holland's phone. That alone told me everything. A 7-year-old should not be reading a room like a hostage negotiator. Holland typed with shaking thumbs. I watched her shoulders rise and fall like each word cost her something. I am so sorry. I got stuck helping at the pantry. My phone is dying. I got dizzy and came into the diner for a free coffee. Miles is eating. What do you want me to do? She hit send. The moment the message left, Holland's whole body tensed. She held the phone like it might bite. We waited. The pancakes arrived. The smell of butter hit the air like a cruel joke. Miles dug in immediately because hunger does not care about fear. Holland barely touched her plate. Her eyes stayed on the phone. It buzzed. Holland flinched so hard her fork clinked against the plate. She read it and something in her face changed. Not relief, not safety, something worse. What? I asked quietly. She slid the phone across the table. If you are lying, I will come to the diner and embarrass you in front of everyone. You do not want that, do you? Send me a picture of Miles, right now, with today's newspaper. My chest tightened. He is testing you. Holland's eyes filled. He always does this. He says it proves I am honest. It proves he is paranoid, I said. Miles looked up. Mama. Holland forced a smile that looked like pain. It is okay, baby. Just 1 second. I kept my voice even. Do you have today's newspaper? Holland blinked like her brain had stalled. No. Then we create one, I said. Holland stared at me. I pulled my own phone out, opened my browser, and searched today's date and a local headline. I found a bright, clean page with the date at the top, bold and obvious. I turned my phone screen toward Holland. Hold my phone like it is a newspaper, I whispered. He will not look closely. He just wants to feel powerful. Holland swallowed hard. If he notices. He will not, I said. He wants to believe his tricks work. That is the point. Holland hesitated, then lifted my phone with shaking hands. I angled it so the date was clear. Miles leaned in, confused. Smile, Holland whispered to him, voice too bright. Miles did not smile. He gave a small, tight look that made him seem older than my entire life. Holland took the picture, sent it, and stared at the screen like she was waiting for a bomb. A reply came almost instantly. Good, get back to the car in 10 minutes. Call me when you are moving. No more games. Holland's shoulders sagged in relief and dread at the same time. 10 minutes, she whispered like it was a sentence. I nodded. Okay. Then I reached into my bag and pulled out a small notepad and a pen. Holland stared. What are you doing? Working, I said. I wrote down the time, the exact words of his messages, the demand for proof, the countdown. Holland's eyes widened. Why? Because this is not normal, I said softly. And later, when he tries to twist it, we will have it exactly as he said it. Holland's breathing hitched. He will say I made it up. He always says I am dramatic. Then we do not argue, I said. We document. Miles kept eating, but slower now, like he could feel the air tightening. I leaned toward Holland. Listen, when you leave here, you will not go back to the car. Holland's eyes went wide with terror. Jen, no. If I do not go, he will come. He will find us. Let him try, I said quietly, and I meant it. Holland grabbed my wrist under the table, nails pressing into my skin. You do not understand. He knows where I park. He knows my routes. He knows everything. I nodded slowly, because he put something in your car. Holland froze. I kept my voice calm, like I was saying the most obvious thing in the world. A tracker, or an air tag, or he is using the car's built-in system if it has one. Something. Holland's face drained. He said he does not track me. I almost laughed, but nothing about this was funny. Miles, I said gently, can you do me a favor? Can you go ask the waitress for one of those little jelly packets, the grape ones? Miles glanced at Holland, waiting for permission. Holland forced a smile. Okay, sweetie, go. As soon as he walked away, Holland whispered, Jen, if he has a tracker, then it is hopeless. No, I said, it is useful. How? She whispered. Because it means he is confident, I said. He thinks he has you tied to a map like a dot he can drag around. People like that get lazy. Holland's eyes filled again. I am so tired. I softened. I know, so I will carry the tired part. You just follow steps. She nodded, barely. I pulled my phone close. What bank do you use for your paycheck? Holland blinked. I do not know. Grayson changed it. Okay, I said. Do you have any access at all? Email, a school portal, anything that sends payroll notifications? Holland hesitated. My school email, but he reads it. Does he? I asked. She swallowed. He says he can. That was another twist. Not proof, just fear dressed up as certainty. Okay, I said again. After we leave, you are going to use my phone, not yours, and you are going to log into your school portal from my hotspot. We are going to see where your money has been going. Holland's hands shook. If he finds out. He will not, I said, because we will not let him know we looked. Miles came back with the jelly, proud like he had completed a mission. Holland thanked him and squeezed his shoulder too tightly. I paid the bill quickly, calmly, like we were just two sisters having lunch, like my heart was not hammering so hard I could taste metal. Outside, the sun hit us again, brutal and bright. Where is the car? I asked. Holland pointed, and my stomach dropped. The car was not in a hidden lot. It was on a side street, close enough for anyone to see, like Holland had been trained to never stray far. As we walked, Holland whispered, Jen, please, I cannot do this. I cannot make him angry. I kept my voice low. You are not making him angry. He is choosing anger because it keeps you small. Holland's eyes burned. He says I provoke him. Of course he does, I said. We reached the car. It was older than I expected, dust on the hood, a faint dent near the rear door. The inside looked like a temporary life pretending it was permanent. Blankets folded tight, a few plastic bags, a small cooler. Miles climbed into the back seat like it was normal. Holland's hand hovered over the driver's door handle. She looked at me, pleading without words. I opened my trunk and pulled out a tote bag I kept for emergencies. Water bottles, protein bars, a small first aid kit, a portable charger. I shoved it toward her. Holland's eyes widened. Jen. Take it, I said. No argument. She took it with trembling hands, like she was not used to being given anything without a price. Then I crouched slightly, lowering myself to Miles's level. Hey, buddy, I said gently. Do you like dinosaurs? His eyes brightened for half a second. Yes. Okay, I said. Then I need you to do a dinosaur mission for me. He leaned in, serious. Can you look under the seats? I whispered. And tell me if you see anything small that does not belong, like a coin or a little round button or a tiny square. Miles nodded like it was a game. He started looking immediately, patting the carpet, peeking under the front seats. Holland stared at me. "Jen, what are you doing?" "Finding the leash," I said quietly. Miles reached under the passenger seat, then paused. His small hand came out holding a little white disc. "Aunt Jen," he whispered, "I found something." My chest tightened. Holland leaned forward, eyes wide. The disc was clean, new and deliberate, a tracking tag. Holland's mouth fell open, but no sound came out. I held it in my palm, feeling the weight of it like proof that her fear had been right all along. Holland's eyes filled with tears, and her voice came out broken. "He said he did not track me." I closed my fingers around the disc and kept my face calm. "Okay," I said softly. "Now we stop running where he wants us to run." Holland's phone buzzed again in her pocket, like a heartbeat that did not belong to her. She pulled it out with shaking hands and looked at the screen. Then she whispered, barely audible, "He is close. He is calling right now." I looked up, scanning the street. And at the far end of the block, I saw a familiar shape turning the corner, slow and confident, like he already knew exactly where to find her. He rolled down the street like he owned the air, one hand on the wheel, the other holding his phone up near his face, as if my sister's life was just another call to manage. I did not move fast. I did not grab Holland and run. Panic would have made her freeze. Panic would have made Miles cry. Panic would have made Grayson smile. Instead, I stepped closer to Holland and spoke low, like we were talking about groceries. "Do not hang up," I said. "Answer, put it on speaker, and say exactly what I tell you to say." Holland's eyes were glassy, her hands shook, but she nodded. She accepted the call. "Where are you?" Grayson's voice snapped through the tiny speaker, sharp and confident, like he was used to the world obeying. Holland's mouth opened, and I watched the old fear try to steal her voice. I touched her elbow gently. "Breathe." "I am by the car," Holland said, and it came out thin. "I am leaving now." "You said 10 minutes, he said. "It has been longer." "I am sorry," she whispered. I kept my own voice quiet. "Add this." Holland swallowed. "I am sorry. Miles needed the bathroom. I am getting in right now." "Good," Grayson said. "FaceTime me. I want to see you moving." My stomach clenched. That was his trick. If he saw the street, he would see me. If he saw my car parked nearby, he would know she was not alone. And if he knew she was not alone, he would tighten the leash until it cut through skin. I leaned in. "Say the battery is low." Holland nodded once. "My battery is at 2%. FaceTime will die. I can call you when I am driving." A beat of silence. I could almost hear him calculating. Then he said, "Do not lie to me, Holland." Her flinch was involuntary, a tiny, conditioned movement, like a dog expecting a kick. "I am not," she whispered. He made a sound like he was smiling. "Keep the phone on. I will be there in 1 minute. If you are still standing there, we will have a problem." The call stayed open. He did not hang up. He wanted her to hear the engine as he approached. He wanted her to feel hunted. Holland's knees looked like they might buckle. Miles stared at her, then at me, his little face tight with understanding. I crouched and took Miles's hand, warm and small. "Buddy," I said softly, "you are going to do another mission for me. Can you do that?" He nodded, serious. "Hold your mom's hand," I said. "No matter what, you do not let go. And if I say the word library, you walk with me inside that building over there. Okay." He nodded again, like he had been waiting his whole life for someone to give him a plan. Holland whispered, "Jen, he is going to see you." "I know," I said. "So we make sure he sees you safe in public with witnesses." Holland's eyes widened in terror. "He will explode." I kept my face calm. "Let him. Loud people forget they are being watched." Grayson's car turned the final corner and slowed. He was close enough now that I could see his jaw working, his eyes scanning like he was counting threats. He spotted Holland first. Relief flashed on his face. Then his gaze shifted to me. His eyes narrowed. He parked fast, too close, tires crunching against the curb like a warning. He stepped out, phone still pressed to his ear, call still open. He did not look at Miles. He did not look at the tote bag of food. He looked only at Holland, like she was property that had wandered. "What is this?" he said, voice tight. "Who is she?" Holland's shoulders pulled in. Her voice trembled. "That is my sister." Grayson's face changed. He forced a smile, polite and thin. "Oh, Genevieve, right." My stomach dropped. He knew my name. He had been studying us. I smiled back, the kind of calm smile that makes controlling men feel insulted. "Yes." I said, "Hi, Grayson." His gaze flicked down to Holland's hands, then to Miles. "Why were you at the pantry?" Holland opened her mouth. I spoke first, still calm. "I ran into them by chance. I am in town for work. I took them to the diner so Miles could eat." Grayson's smile tightened. "That was not necessary." Miles's fingers tightened around Holland's hand. Holland's lips went white. Grayson stepped closer to Holland, body angling so he could block her view of the street. A quiet intimidation move, a wall made of a person. I stepped with him, matching the movement, keeping the triangle open so Holland could still see daylight and other people. "Is there a problem?" I asked, voice light. Grayson's eyes flashed with irritation. He hated that I did not sound scared. He leaned toward Holland. "Get in the car." Holland did not move. That was new, barely but new. Grayson's jaw tightened. "Now." Holland whispered, "Miles is tired, I just need a moment." Grayson's voice dropped, dangerous. "You do not need a moment, you need to listen." I watched his hand twitch like he wanted to grab her arm. He stopped himself because I was there, because the sidewalk was there, because the world was there. That was the whole point. I pulled my phone out, not hidden, not sneaky. I opened my notes app like I was texting. Grayson saw it and stiffened. "What are you doing?" "Nothing," I said. "Just letting my manager know I might be late." He stared at me, trying to decide if he could challenge that without looking guilty. He turned back to Holland. "You are embarrassing me." Holland's eyes filled. "I am not trying to." "You always are," he hissed. "You always make things harder." I watched Holland's face collapse in on itself, shame taking the wheel like it always did. I stepped closer, gentle. "Holland," I said softly, "tell him you are going to the community center bathroom with Miles. It is right there." Holland blinked, confused. Grayson's head snapped toward the building. "No," he said fast. "You are not going inside." The speed of his refusal told me everything. He did not want her around staff. He did not want her around cameras. He did not want her around people trained to notice fear. "Why not?" I asked lightly. Grayson's smile came back too quick. "Because we have plans. Come on, Holland." Holland's voice trembled. "Miles needs the bathroom." Grayson's eyes flicked to Miles for the first time, annoyance plain on his face. "He can hold it." Miles's mouth tightened. He looked down, humiliated, like his body was an inconvenience. Something hot and bitter rose in me. I pushed it down and kept my face calm. I said one small sentence, the kind that does not sound like an accusation, but lands like a trap. "Grayson," I said, "if you are worried about being embarrassed, why not just let them use the restroom?" His eyes cut to mine. For a second, the mask slipped. A flicker of cruelty, a flicker of control panic. Then he smiled again, because Holland likes to lie. Holland flinched like he had hit her. I kept my voice steady. "Then you can walk them to the door, you can stand outside, you can watch, that seems fair." Grayson's nostrils flared. He looked around, noticing the small cluster of people nearby, the volunteer in a bright vest watching, the security camera mounted on the corner of the building. He lowered his voice. "Holland, get in the car now." Holland's fingers trembled around Miles's hand. I leaned closer to Holland, whispering so only she could hear. "Library." Miles reacted instantly. He tugged Holland's hand toward the community center entrance like it was the most natural thing in the world. Holland moved because Miles moved. Sometimes kids save us without knowing they are doing it. Grayson stepped forward fast, blocking them. "No," he snapped. "You are not going anywhere with her." My stomach tightened. He was about to show his real self. I raised my voice just enough for the people nearby to hear, not dramatic, just clear. "Holland, do you want to go inside with Miles?" Holland's lips trembled. Then she did something I did not expect. She nodded. "Yes," she whispered. "I want to go inside." Grayson's face hardened. "You do not get to decide that." I stayed calm. She just did. Grayson's hand shot out and grabbed Holland's wrist, hard enough that her skin blanched under his fingers. Holland gasped. Miles's eyes went huge. Everything in me wanted to explode. Instead, I took one step back and let the moment breathe in public. Because this was the line, this was the proof. A volunteer in the bright vest moved forward. "Sir," she said sharply, "let go of her." Grayson's head snapped toward the volunteer, eyes furious. He loosened his grip, not because he cared, but because he had been seen. Holland yanked her wrist back, trembling. Grayson's voice went low and vicious. "Get in the car before you ruin everything." I kept my phone held up like I was texting, but my thumb pressed the side button 3 times. Emergency recording. The screen stayed dark. My heart pounded. I said softly, "Holland, take Miles inside." Holland moved. Miles moved with her. Grayson lunged forward again, but the volunteer stepped between them, and another staff member appeared at the door, watching with the kind of alert posture that means they have dealt with this before. Grayson froze, smiling again, too bright. "This is a misunderstanding." I smiled back, polite. "Then it should not be a problem when the police arrive." His eyes narrowed. "The police?" I nodded. "Yes." He leaned closer to me, voice like a blade. "You think you can take my family from me?" I kept my voice calm. "No, I think you already did, and I think you did it on purpose." Grayson's face twitched, anger trying to break through. "You do not know anything." I said one small thing, quiet and deadly. "We found the tracker." His eyes flicked, just once toward the car. That tiny movement was all I needed. He knew. He turned on his heel and walked fast toward the driver's door like he could erase evidence by driving away. He yanked it open and reached under the seat. Too late. I had the tag in my pocket. He straightened, face tight, scanning the street. He saw my calm. He saw the volunteer watching. He saw people staring now. He got in the car anyway, slammed the door, and peeled away from the curb like a tantrum on wheels. I did not chase him. I did not scream. I walked inside with steady steps. Holland was pressed against the wall near the entrance, shaking so hard her teeth clicked. Miles clung to her, eyes wet, trying not to cry. I took Holland's face gently between my hands. "Look at me," I said. She did. Her eyes were full of shame and terror. "You did not do anything wrong," I said, slow and clear. "He just showed everyone who he is." The staff member at the desk spoke softly. "Do you want to go to a private room?" I nodded, yes. They led us into a small office that smelled like copier paper and hand sanitizer. Holland sat in a chair like her bones had turned to water. Miles curled into her lap, too old for it, too small for the world. A police officer arrived within minutes. His name tag read Beckett. He was calm, professional, eyes scanning the room with quiet understanding. He looked at Holland's wrist. The red mark was already rising. He said, "Ma'am, are you safe?" Holland opened her mouth, and fear tried to steal the truth. I touched her shoulder gently, grounding her. Holland whispered, "No." Officer Beckett nodded once, like he had expected that answer. He asked, "Does he have access to your phone?" Holland nodded. "Does he have access to your money?" Holland nodded again, tears spilling now. Officer Beckett looked at me. "Are you her sister?" "Yes," I said. "I am taking her somewhere safe." Beckett's expression stayed calm. "We can file for an emergency protective order today. We can also connect you with a domestic violence advocate. Her name is Sloan. She will meet you at the courthouse." Holland's breath hitched. "Courthouse?" "Yes," Beckett said, "and I want you to hear this clearly. Him threatening you with child services is a control tactic. If anyone should be worried about losing access, it is him." Holland started crying, shoulders shaking, and this time it was not just fear. It was release. Miles looked up at me, voice tiny. "Is Mama in trouble?" I crouched in front of him. "No," I said gently. "Mama is safe, and you are safe." Officer Beckett took my statement. He took the volunteer's statement. He watched the security footage. He photographed Holland's wrist. He asked for Grayson's full name. When I said it, Beckett paused, fingers still on his notepad. He looked up, expression shifting slightly. "Say that again." I repeated it. Beckett nodded slowly. "He has a prior protective order in another county. Different woman, similar pattern." Holland's face went pale. "He told me his ex was crazy." I kept my voice calm. "They all say that." Sloan arrived an hour later, a woman with kind eyes and a firm handshake, the kind of person who speaks softly but does not bend. She sat beside Holland and said, "You are not alone. You are not to blame. And today we start removing his access." We did not go back to the car. We went straight to my hotel. I handed Holland my spare phone, a clean one, and I powered her phone down and put it in a zip bag. "Evidence," I said softly. Holland stared. "I feel like I am doing something wrong." I shook my head. "You are finally doing something right." Over the next hours, we moved like a quiet machine. We changed her school portal password on my laptop. We changed her direct deposit at payroll. We set up a new bank account in her name only, with a new email he did not know. We froze her credit. We filed an identity theft report. We documented everything. Holland kept waiting for the ground to open under her feet, because that is what trauma teaches you to expect. But the ground stayed steady. At the courthouse, the judge reviewed the statements, the photos, the security footage, and the audio I had recorded when Grayson's voice turned sharp and threatening in public. The judge granted the emergency protective order without hesitation. Holland cried in the hallway afterward, not loud, just shaking, like her body was trying to understand that safety was real. Sloan helped us get a safe shelter placement for the night anyway, just in case he tried to find her. Officer Beckett promised patrolled checks near the shelter. That evening, Miles fell asleep on the hotel bed with a full stomach and clean pajamas the shelter had provided. Holland sat beside him, stroking his hair like she was relearning how to be a mother without fear watching her. She whispered, "He is going to say I stole money." I kept my voice calm. "Then we will show the truth to the right people." The next morning, Grayson broke the protective order. He called from an unknown number. He left a voicemail that started polite and ended threatening. Sloan smiled grimly when she heard it. "He just gave us a gift." Officer Beckett arrested him that afternoon for violating the order. Not for the whole story yet, not for the financial abuse yet, just for the first thread that would unravel everything. 2 days later, the real twist landed. Beckett called me while I was sitting with Holland in the shelter kitchen, helping Miles with a worksheet so he would not fall behind. My hand tightened around the phone as I listened. "Genevieve," Beckett said, "we ran the tracking tag." I went still. "It is registered to an account with multiple tags," he continued. "Not just one. He has been tracking more than one person." Holland's face drained. Beckett's voice stayed steady. "We also found a storage unit tied to that account. We got a warrant based on the protective order violation and the evidence you gave us. Inside, we found folders, women's names, copies of IDs, bank paperwork, school payroll forms." Holland pressed a hand to her mouth, eyes filling. Beckett said, "Your sister is not his first victim, but she might be the last." The federal part moved faster than Holland's fear could keep up with. The evidence trail was clean because Grayson had been arrogant. He thought the shame would silence her. He thought the tracker would keep her in place. He did not plan for someone to quietly collect the crumbs and follow them. Within weeks, Holland had full control of her paycheck again. Her credit disputes were underway. The court granted temporary custody orders that kept Miles with her and blocked Grayson's access completely. Holland started therapy. Miles started sleeping without flinching at every sound. Small steps, real steps. On the day Holland went back to her classroom to clear out her desk, her principal hugged her and said, "We thought you were struggling, but we did not know you were surviving. We are here now." Holland cried in the empty hallway, and then she stood up straighter. A month later, the criminal case expanded. Identity theft, fraud, stalking, coercive control documented through messages and tracking data. More victims came forward when they heard his name. Holland did not have to scream. She did not have to beg anyone to believe her. She just handed them the evidence. The final court hearing came on a rainy Thursday. Holland wore a simple blouse and held Miles's hand. I sat behind her, quiet. Grayson was brought in, wrists cuffed, face tight with rage, still trying to look like the victim of a misunderstanding. The judge read the violations, the fraud counts, the stalking evidence. Grayson opened his mouth to speak. The judge raised a hand. No. Grayson's face twitched. The judge looked at Holland. "Ma'am, you did the right thing. This court will not punish you for surviving." Holland's shoulders shook once, then steadied. Afterward, in the hallway, Holland did not look at Grayson. She did not say a word. She just walked past him with Miles, her head high. Miles looked back once, small face serious. In his little fist, he held the tracking tag in a clear zip bag, the label written in my handwriting. Evidence. And as we stepped out into the rain, Holland squeezed my hand and whispered, "I thought I was trapped." I squeezed back. "You were never trapped. He just needed you to believe you were." Miles lifted his chin, rain dotting his cheeks like tiny cold stars, and he said, "Mama, he cannot find us anymore." Holland knelt, pulled him close, and for the first time her hug looked like safety instead of fear. Grayson watched from the courthouse doors, jaw clenched, helpless. He did not lose because we yelled. He lost because we finally stopped whispering to ourselves and started writing everything down.